everyone. It is the 2nd of April 2026. This is a new vlog. We are on the road to Mudgee. So this is just a short little getaway for the Easter long weekend.
In 400 meters, right turn.
We are driving down to Mudgee, and that's where we'll be staying for 3 nights. So it's going to be a little bit more in the country, someplace quiet, a bit of a different change from the city. For me personally, I've never been to these places before. Attila has been to a few of them. We'll just get more footage as we hit the road, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this vlog. We've just checked into our motel, and the room that we booked for, obviously, we can only afford what we can. So I'll just show you a bit of the space. Say hello. We're filming each other. So that's the beds here. There's a bigger bed and then there's a smaller bed. So whether we want to share the bed, it's up to us. But knowing you, I think you probably will kick me out of the bed. So it's just the bed here, little TV there, and fridge and bathroom right there with a toilet, sink and shower.
I quite like it. It's decent enough, you know? It's not the best, but it's decent.
I think for the amount of time that we will be here, I think it's just exactly what we need. Sometimes it's just down to the basic necessities that will just make any room feel comfortable despite like the size. Where the motel's located, it's right in the middle of town. So we're close by to a lot of cafes and, as Attila said, petrol stations, grocery stores.
Pubs.
We even saw a pub. Yeah. We're just relaxing. It's been a long drive and we'll probably head into town a little bit later. We are now on the road to Wellington. Just as another small town of not far from Mudgee, about an hour's drive.
Don't ask me why I'm wearing a jumper, I just look cool.
We're only now going to be heading to a Japanese garden in Wellington, which won't close until 6. So the sun's still looking quite nice and hopefully it will cool down a little bit.
It's barely any clouds, so it's good, but yeah, it will get much more colder tonight.
So in the meantime, we're just taking in more of the scenery and yeah, just seeing the views and checking out these quiet little towns along the way, which is very nice. Kelly's Irish pub in Mudgee for our dinner tonight. It's been a very long day, so thankfully there's a lot of pubs within walking distance of our motel. And when we were driving through into Mudgee this afternoon, we came across this Irish pub and it just looked pretty cozy. And I think this was a good idea to end our first night on this road trip. So yeah, we're just going to be digging in, and yeah, we'll check in tomorrow. Good morning. This is Good Friday, and it's our second day of our road trip. We are heading down to Dubbo for the day. It's looking to be a beautiful morning, so it's now almost 7:30. So we're about to hit the road and ready for another great day. So this morning we are at Taronga Western Plains Zoo in Dubbo. We just arrived maybe 20 minutes ago, and just looking at the map, it's quite a lot to walk through. You can also hire carts and bikes to trek around the place, but considering that we've been sitting down quite a lot, we thought a morning walk would be nice. A lot of shops are closed today. We just thought going to the zoo would be a good idea, and so far we're loving the space. Very open and a lot of walking tracks, and the animals that they have around here, quite a variety, and we're only yet to still see a few more. We've only seen already 3-4 different kinds of animals here already. So we're really quite liking it. So
There's going to be many more.
Super excited. So keen to explore more. Check out this amazing view right here. So this is the section where you can actually do a safari tour, and it will take you more into the depths of the zoo, and there's a lodge that you can actually stay overnight a little bit further down in. This view is actually quite amazing for this morning. The sun's just coming up and all the animals are getting up to have breakfast, and I think we're just at the right time to see so many animals popping up. This is really cool.
Pretty cool. That's all I can say.
Taking a little break, we've done a fair bit of walking. I think it's been like over an hour since we started walking. You can hear some noises in the background, and I think because we're getting some monkeys coming out soon.
But they are making a lot of noises if you can hear them. So I don't know why, if it's feeding time or if it's...
The setup here, as we've commented a few times to ourselves, that it feels like an open safari.
I think even the zookeepers are frustrated about it.
So I guess you could say I had a very close encounter with a kangaroo, but I thought that was the coolest thing ever. A couple of little, like, tiny little bent dents there, but that's okay. He didn't scratch me too bad. He was actually quite a very friendly kangaroo, but yeah, I didn't get a chance to capture this footage that he was actually really trying to put up a fight with my partner. Kangaroos can really get very aggressive when they're in defensive mode, but they're actually very sweet little creatures and so beautiful and native to Australia. So to anyone that's like first time coming to Australia, yeah, you'll definitely will see so many kangaroos and bouncing in so many backyards. It's so cool. So now we're just in Dubbo, in the middle of town, and just had a little bit of a break after walking for nearly 3 hours in the zoo, which was an amazing way to start off the morning. Bit of a long walk for us, but yeah, now that we've been relaxing and refreshed, we're going to be just walking around Dubbo Central and just check out some of the historical landmark sites. Just got back from Dubbo. It's been quite a long day. We're both tired, but we're ending it on a good high, going to Paragon Hotel for dinner. And I think tomorrow will be a little bit of a quieter, sort of chilled back sort of day, because we're just going to go to Gulgong, which is like not far. So yeah, we'll just call it a night and we'll see you tomorrow morning. Happy Easter, everyone. It's Easter Saturday. We are now going to be spending the day at Gulgong. This morning we just took a little bit of a detour to check out this honey haven cafe, but they also sold honey and lots of different merch there, which was pretty neat.
Been relatively nice. You know, today it's just going to be a shorter trip to Gulgong, about maybe half an hour or so.
Thankfully the drive's been really smooth and the weather's been very nice. It's a little bit cooler today, but the sun is also out, which is very nice. So we're expecting to see a lot more people today. Yesterday was Good Friday and a lot of places were closed, so we're probably going to expect probably a lot of people because of school holidays.
This town, I've been there a couple of times though, and absolutely it's a historic old town. It is a very small town, but what's historic about it is that, you know, when you go to Sydney, you see these modern buildings and stuff like that. You don't see much of heritage buildings like it used to be. A lot of them do have old heritage buildings around in the main area. Now, of course, a lot of things have been modernized a bit. Gulgong was pretty much in that gold rush, but it was also the last town recognized being the gold rush, because after Gulgong, there was nothing else.
I think you missed a turn.
And I have missed a turn because I blabbed onto it.
Yeah, it's a thing when you're in the country. It's, you know, sometimes it's not that hard to miss a turn. But I think because the views here have also been quite nice, it's very distracting and we would get off track.
Yep.
So we...
All right, so I'm on the face now apparently today because apparently didn't want to be on the face, but that's cool. So we stopped around here. This is a town called Urandice, which is somewhere around Mudgee and Gulgong. So where we are here, we're at Henry Lawson. Now, for those young kids, especially young kids who don't know about Henry Lawson, he was basically a bush poet. He wrote a lot of great poets, short stories as well, but often cited as Australia's greatest short stories. And he was also writing into newspapers, you know, that probably don't exist now these days, when he was living in Sydney. But he was born in Grenfell. Grenfell is actually quite further away. But this is his childhood home, as you can see around here. So whatever it is you see now today, you know, you got I'm assuming that would be the living room, kitchen would have been somewhere, bedroom as well. But this was basically the floor plan around here. And I've been here quite a few times though. You know, he was such an iconic figure. And that's why we have roads named after him, the Henry Lawson Drive, both in Sydney and out here in Central West. And this was a nice memorial for living with his family. He did live in the country, but he also did live in Sydney as well. Yeah, it's just to go up here to preserve this kind of thing. It's like quite historical around to it. Yeah, so you got the old chimneys up here. That's definitely not old. That's still there, the modern bench. Someone must have built on top of that. But yeah, this was like the farm life around here, especially like living near the main road as it is now today. And you also got the farm across the road here. So a lot of people don't really usually come around here, but I do like to come here because you see all this old historic things come to it. So if you ever want to know about Henry Lawson, definitely Google about his poets' work. There's quite a lot, particularly when it comes about bush poets' stories. So yeah, pretty cool thing to see around here.
The town of Gulgong this morning. It's a little bit cloudy and it's a little bit cold this morning, but we're just going to explore this cute little town and see if we can find some nice little goodies. And I think we're probably going to be spending most of the day in this town, and whether it's going to get busier or it's going to stay quiet, we're not too sure, but we're very excited to explore this place because some of the buildings that we have seen, how it's designed, has got a lot of history to it. So we're very curious to explore much of this town as we can. are inside the Gulgong Pioneers Museum, and it's quite a lot of things here. We're currently in this room where it's just full of gems, crystals, fossils, all different types of rocks, like shapes and sizes, and even some seashells here too. Like this is pretty cool. Like the way it's all set up here and organized. There are like different rooms dedicated to like computers, vehicles. There's still a few more that we need to go into, but it's actually a lot bigger than I thought. But as you can see here, they've really preserved the history here. Sorry that my voice sounds a little grovelly, but the way that everything's encased here and it's fully on display just really makes you appreciate the little bits of history that's preserved in this town. And it's amazing what you can find, like things that goes as far back as many centuries, and it's well looked after, and it tells so many different stories about, you know, the lives lived here and the way that the town has evolved into. And you'll find like really interesting little perks and treasures along the way, like this cute little guy here. You would not expect to find it, but you really just have to go exploring, and this museum just happens to be one of the most popular in town. And right now we're about to go into this room, and it's like full of these like old characters. Like I feel like I should dress up for the occasion and just walk through like I've gone through history and gone back in time, but it's like really cool. Yeah, really impressed with like the amount of things that's here. Like they even have like little outside areas, and they take advantage of some of the older buildings, and they've used them and preserved them and even recreated them to sort of, I guess, like retell the story of what life was like here, or what the house used to be, what the building was used for. So like as we go a little further down, there's even like cottages and old sheds. It's actually pretty cool. Like it feels like you're actually walking through the town as it was at the time. And there's even like preserved items, like this old fence here. Like you can even see a little bit of some information, like when it was donated or how old like said items were. But you can see here, like these are like old mechanic machines, and some of them were used for different purposes. And even this like little cottage behind me, like we're about to find out what is in here, but it really shows that there's a lot of care and dedication for like historical museums such as this. I think the townspeople here are very proud of their history, and they really want to preserve it. And I think because it is so like well out of town, they want to ensure that when the tourists do come here, they do feel like they're stepped back in time, or they feel like they're stepped in a place of history. And it's so beautifully quiet here. You can take as much time as you need, because like every little piece, every little room has like a story. Very easy to get lost in here because the way that everything is arranged. You go into so many different rooms, and each room is themed based on the specific item. So you can see that in some glass cases, you'll see like a section of just telephones or ironing boards, and then you even have like rooms that's dedicated to like a specific theme. Like as we go a little further along here, you'll see like surgical tools, and then right opposite is like a layout of what a hospital or a doctor's room used to look like. So it's very well organized, and it's actually pretty neat to see like all the specific items that were used in said location and for whatever purpose it was used for. So this is actually, if you're someone that really loves history or really appreciates going to museums filled with artifacts, I think this is definitely like one of those, particularly in Australia, that you need to go and visit as well. I think you should really like take your time, because every little section is like well crafted and like well organized. It's still blowing my mind, and I feel like we've gone in circles because there's like sections that we might have missed, but it's a little bit of a maze. But the way that all the buildings and rooms are organized, it's sort of pretty straightforward. So I think it has a way of telling different stories when you start off in one room and then it'll go into the next room, and then it's got like photographs with short narratives illustrating what the town was like. Yeah, this is a pretty big space, so I think you definitely need a good couple of hours, if not like half the day. But the cool thing is that the ticket, it gives you full day admission, so you can go in and out whenever you want to. So like even here in this section here, it's like all musical instruments. And then here you've got like, you know, fire service and then policemen. And they even have recreation of like the building as well. So yeah, it's very impressive, very well set up. Actually didn't realize that there was a lookout here in Gulgong until we looked up the map, and a couple of the locals here were mentioning it. And now that we're here, we've got this beautiful view of the town, and then going out further into the outskirts into more central west area. I think this is probably like a really nice way to have finished today's like day out. Was not expecting this kind of view actually, because it's not like there's any signs or there's any indicator that there's a lookout here, except for a couple of street signs. But yeah, tell me your thoughts on what you see here.
You tell me behind it.
I think like the visual here just says it all. Like, you wouldn't expect to, you know, find these things unless you really go looking for it. So we were just driving along and a couple of street signs. So this is Flirtation Hill Lookout. So I don't know my geography quite well, but if someone could tell me, but where we are right now, over here, I believe that is the Gulgong town that we just came from.
That's the Gulgong town?
Yeah, it's a very small town, I will say. Like, from what we've shown you, it's really not that much, but there is quite a fair few things to do.
Up north, you might not see it from here, but let's say northwestish, there's a place called Dubbo. That's another town up there, another small town. And then as you keep going up north, it's Coonabarra, Weewa, Narrabeen. As you keep going further up, that's more like when you're heading towards the mountains range.
So
And then
yeah.
west is Dubbo, I think. West, yeah, probably west down there is Dubbo.
Yeah, so probably
South
down
is-
that way is towards Dubbo where we were yesterday.
Southwest would be Wellington.
Yep.
That's a little bit further down south from Dubbo, and then south is Mudgee, which is where we just came from.
So I think Mudgee would be more back in that direction here.
I would say more
But-
down, like that.
From the look of it, and you can even see there's some clouds developing behind us, but this weather is actually perfect. Like you can get a bit of cloud, a bit of sun, but it gives you sort of like a clear overview of like the farming and the land range that's around here. Yeah, so probably you can see far beyond into the mountain range heading towards Sydney direction.
Yeah.
But this is incredible. Like, I know a lot of people would say that, you know, you wouldn't come to little towns like Mudgee or Gulgong or even Dubbo in general for like, you know, specific touristy things. But if you really go looking for the smaller places, you really will come to appreciate these little towns. We are in our final nights in Mudgee. We're just currently chilling out at the Woolpack Hotel. We just thought we end the night with some bit of drinks. And yeah, we're going to be heading back to Sydney tomorrow. So we're just going to keep it chilled and loving the vibe here. And I think we're just sort of keeping it simple. It's been a very busy past couple of days for us, but it's actually been a very nice getaway for Easter.
It's been a great trip. I got to know Mudgee a lot better now this time than I did the last two visits. I wish we could have stayed longer to explore other towns, or stay a little bit longer in Dubbo, and, you know, but I think 3 days has been great.
We'll just keep it casual for tonight, and we're just going to end the night with some drinks, and then we'll do a brief tune-in for tomorrow morning. Bye! So this morning, while we're on the way back to Sydney, we thought we'd stop over at Macca's for a bit of a brunch, and then even try like the Demon Hunters like chicken nuggets and demon sauce. It's a bit of a tangy flavour, which is not too bad. But we just figured we'd stop over here before the final drive back to Sydney. A bit of a rainy day, a bit of fog, a bit of rain, but it's not too bad. But we're just taking it easy. It's been a bit of a trip, so yeah, ready to hit back on the road. Doing all right there? Yeah, we're doing all right. As long as we get our food and we're sort of relaxed and re-energized, and we should be fine.
Are you recording?
I am. I'm recording this now. So we decided to do a little quick detour as we arrived in Lithgow. There were a couple of lookouts that we couldn't see the first time we arrived in town, but considering that we're driving on the way back to Sydney, we thought we stop over. We have a little bit of time to spare and check out what these lookouts are. About 10-minute drive. And it's a bit of a bumpy road along the way, so we're hoping that the views are worth it. I apologise for the shaky camera, but it's not exactly a very smooth road. We're practically driving through dirt lands and potholes and a lot of bushland, but the sun seems to be coming out through the clouds. The rain is clearing up a little bit, so yeah, hopefully that the lookouts we've got here are all worth it.
Might do this one, lookout.
Yep.
For the Hassan Balls first.
Yep, so we've got 2 lookouts, pretty much driving up pretty high at this point, so yeah, we'll tune back in and we'll see what the views are. So one of the cool things of actually going on a road trip is that you may have a specific destination that you want to get to, but when you drive by through these little towns, you may find little things in between that you just want to, obviously you need to stop and take a break. But when you have like lookouts such as these, it just makes the trip all the more worth it as well, because you don't see many of them in your city. So when you go into the country, really take advantage of like the nature and the scenery and really appreciate the beauty and the views of nature. Just seeing nature itself is quite spectacular, like the fog, and even though it's a little cloudy right now, there is still some blue clouds behind us as well, so that you get a little bit of sun. But this is like actually really decent weather to actually be up here, because you'll get like the full scale of like what the mountains look like with the clouds in the background, and then you can see just a bit of sunshine just shining down on the grass town below there. It's absolutely spectacular. So this is Hassan Wall's lookout, which is not far from Lithgow, and you can see behind us here it's heading down towards where Sydney is. And yeah, it's all the more worth it. So it's actually kind of funny that I said not too long ago that the weather was actually nice, but just a few seconds ago it just started to drizzle a little bit. But that's how it is when it's very cloudy and you're up on the mountains, so you definitely will feel more of the weather here. But we moved into this little section here, which is like a little cave here, which is actually pretty cool. The ground's a little bit slippery with all the moss and everything, but when you come into this little cave, it's you kind of like have your own sort of private view of the mountains here, which is really cool. So one thing I think I should mention when you are driving to said lookouts, particularly out in bush reserves, really take great extra care when you're driving on these dirt paths, because they can be very bumpy with a lot of potholes, sometimes falling rocks from cliffs, branches from fallen trees, sometimes even wildlife would come on these pathways. But thankfully, a lot of the drives to these lookouts aren't so bad. There are very clear, distinct roads to get to some lookouts. You'll see the signage and you'll just follow your map and you'll be able to reach to lookouts such as these. If you're wanting to go more into the country, really keep an eye out for these lookouts, because they're also a great way to take a break from a long drive and stretch your legs and even do a bit of a short bush walk and really take in the nature and the scenery. So I think it would make you appreciate some of these views here. But yeah, again, take real extra caution when you are driving around this part of the area. But all the worth it. For views like this, it's really worth it.
Kind of a gateway between Sydney and Midwestern towns, in my opinion. Yes, it's near Blue Mountains, but that's kind of a gateway to it. It's like kind of in the middle of that spot. So, yeah.
So we're now just driving back to Sydney. We've just left Lithgow. We have to return the rental car before it closes today. Today being Easter Sunday, it's a public holiday, so not many places are open. So far the road is not too bad, so hopefully we'll be back within 2 hours or so. But to close out, we both really enjoyed this little getaway. Quiet towns we visited, just the time out and the recharge that we needed. We hope that you enjoyed this vlog, short and sweet, but yeah, feel free to give us any feedback or comments on the places that we've been to, or any other place that you recommend that we travel and visit. Yeah, feel free to share them.
Yeah, just bring us any new ideas. Anything, even if we've been there before and we might have missed something, or if there's something that we've never been to but we're keen, or whatever, just let us know for it. We're always open-minded into where we're going to go.
Most importantly, when you travel safely, look after yourself and look after everyone else. Bye!